Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero. I am George Trombley, the co-author of the Japanese from Zero book series, and today we're starting a new series called Hitokoto. Hitokoto in Japanese means one word or one thing. It can be a concept that you want to talk about with somebody. It could be a word. It could be a sentence. For example, you could say to somebody, Hitokoto iwasete kudasai. Please allow me to say one thing. One thing. Hitokoto. So this show will not have time limits like the Japanese in 5 show, but it will also not be limited to concept. So we can talk about words, we can talk about one word. A lot of times it's just going to be one word because that's the idea, one thing. As I have studied other languages, I've realized that you spend quite about a lot of time on one thing sometimes, but sometimes that's very important. That one word becomes part of everything that you do. It becomes part of your personality in that language. And this is one word that we're going to talk about today that I think is pretty important, and one that I use so much in my language that when I learned Korean, I wanted to learn this exact thing in Korean, and I did, and now I use it in Korean. But today's topic is Japanese, so let's look at today's Hitokoto. Today's Hitokoto is this handy phrase, AIKAWARAZU. AIKAWARAZU. It means as always. As it has always been, AIKAWARAZU. The kawarazu part means unchanging. So kawaru is to change, kawarazu, unchanging. So for example, we can use it in a sentence like this. Let's say that someone says to you, how is the weather in England? They say to you, イギリスの天気はどうですか? イギリスの天気はどうですか? And because it always rains in England, I've never been to England, but I know the weather is always crappy. This is what I hear from all of my English friends. You can say, 相変わらず雨です. 相変わらず雨です. Like always, it's rain. Rain like always. You can mix this up. You just throw this 相変わらず in the front. You could say, 相変わらず天気が悪いです. 相変わらず天気が悪いです. And this means, as always, or like always, the weather is bad. All right? Maybe someone asks you about your work and they say, 仕事はどうですか? 仕事はどうですか? And of course, work is boring for most people, right? Not for you maybe, but for me sometimes it isn't, for other people. So, a typical answer could be, 相変わらずつまらないです. 相変わらずつまらないです. つまらない. つまらない means not fun or boring. It's boring. All right? Maybe there's a girl that you like. There's a girl that you like, and you say to this girl, 今日は綺麗ですね. You are so beautiful today. You think you're being charming, but because of the way Japanese uses that particle wa, you're saying, today you are beautiful. Other days you are not. That's what should be or could be assumed by the girl. So you don't want to say 今日は綺麗ですね, because she could think, what? 今日だけ? Only today? 他の日は? What about other days? She could be upset. So you could say to her, let's imagine that her name is Yui, a favorite girl of mine. You could say, ゆいちゃんは相変わらず綺麗ですね. ゆいちゃんは相変わらず綺麗ですね. Yui. And by the way, Japanese, they like to say people's names to them directly as if it was third party. You could translate this as, man, Yui is just as pretty as she is all the time. She's as pretty as always. But when you say it directly to her, you're saying, Yui-chan, you. Yui-chan becomes you. You are, as always, pretty. Who is Yui-chan? Who is Yui-chan? This is Asaka Yui. This is a girl that I, from the age of maybe 16, was in love with. She is now, I just read while I was getting this photo, 50 years old. Oh my God, she's 50, which is, wow, it's pretty old. I mean, I'm 43 as of 3 days ago, but I mean, I guess I could make it work out. This is Yui. She is a top idol from the 80s in Japan. Everyone knew who she was. And the entire reason that I kept studying Japanese, my entire motivation was Asaka Yui. And I went to one of her concerts. I was the only foreigner in her concert. And at one point when I was standing on the chair singing her song, the Japanese people were like, what the hell? And they were looking at me more than they were looking at her. So I felt a little bit bad. I swear though at one point she was looking at me. Yasako Yui was like, I see that foreigner. But a man can always dream, This is a TV show that she was in called Skeban Deka. Skeban Deka. Not sure what the Skeban means. Not sure, that's some sort of combo word, but Deka means detective. This is one of the cheesiest Japanese TV shows you can ever watch from the 80s. It is, there's 3 or 4 versions out there with different main characters, but the one that she was in, I believe was the one where there was 3 sisters and they fought crime with a yo-yo. This is the yo-yo that she fought crime with, and an origami crane bird, and a knitting needle. Knitting needles were used to fight crime. And it is the cheesiest. Every time they kick, you hear the type thing. But if you can look for some of this online, I guarantee you will enjoy it. So let's look at something that is similar to AIKAWARAZU. AIKAWARAZU. And then you could also say this. You could say, いつものように. いつものように. And what is the opposite? The opposite of AIKAWARAZU is the opposite also of いつものように. You can say, いつもと違って. いつもと違って, which means different from always, not like always, okay? So for example, if someone asks you, イギリスの天気はどうですか? イギリスの天気はどうですか? What if it's a brilliantly beautiful day, unlike most days when it's rain, maybe it's いつもと違って快晴です. 快晴. 快晴 means unclouded weather, blue skies, it's a rare thing for England. I think I heard that the average is maybe 4 days a year. 4 days a year where you have this kind of nice weather. So you could say, いつもと違って快晴です. However, in Las Vegas, 相変わらず or いつものように快晴です. Like always, it is beautiful weather. We always have blue skies here. Now, what if you're talking to your girl and you reverse, you say it wrong. You don't say AIKAWARAZU and you don't say いつものように. You will say this unfortunate thing. You will say, ゆいちゃんはいつもと違って, sorry, let me say that again. ゆいちゃんはいつもと違って綺麗ですね. ゆいちゃん, you, unlike normal, are pretty, and that will mean that she is normally ugly. And even though you're saying a nice thing, you are implying that she is not always beautiful. If you would like to learn more Japanese, we have 5 books. What? 5 books? I've only seen 4. I've searched for Japanese from 05 over and over again, but it doesn't come up. That's because it really hasn't been released yet, but that's what the cover will look like. And I promise I'm working on it. I've got some other books in the work, schedule before that, but it is coming out. It is almost done, and when it does, you can get it. But before then, you can get Japanese books, Japanese from 0 books 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on bookdepository.com to ship to any country free of charge, or you can get it, as always, on Amazon. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all in the next Hitokoto. Bye-bye.